Today we are exploring an Arizona bombing range, and you never know what you will find. Tanks, helicopters, plane crashes, you just never know. Alrighty, we are here at the Barry M. Goldwater Range. Gracie and I are going to spend a night or two out here, and Grace has never been. I did El Camino del Diablo a few years ago, so I've been out here, and I've been to bombing ranges before. Grace has never been?
I think I can move on.
Okay, so there we go. And the cool thing about a bombing range is you never know what you're going to find. You just never know. Maybe an airplane, maybe a tank, maybe unexploded ordnance. You just never know. So we head out to see what we can find. And very quickly we come upon this truck that has some sort of electronic equipment on it, and a tank, and some sort of amphibious vehicle. The thing that strikes me about this is the last time I was at the bombing range, we found a lot of old tanks that clearly hadn't moved in a while. These clearly had driven right here to this spot. I don't know what they are. I sent it to a military friend of mine, and he says they are weird. If you know, please let us know in the comments. Maybe they were prototypes or something, and now they're targets on the bombing range. From here, I can see that there are some old tanks just down the road and across the way, so we go check those out next. These tanks are more typical of what I had seen on the bombing range before. And of course I had to get out and get a funny photo. Point, we also had a border patrol drive by. He probably scanned our license plate, knew that we had a permit, and he never bothered us again. You never know what you're going to find on a bombing range, and as we go to find a campsite, we come upon this area that has a fence around it and an archaeological historic site. So we get out to investigate. Well, the fact that they keep it separate, well, this is something American heritage. We don't know. If we find out, we'll let you know. If not, it won't be in the video. Maybe it's a geoglyph. Look, there's a thing, there's a thing, there's a thing. Look at that, and then there, and then there, and then there. It's a circle. Oh, look at that. Might be a geoglyph. Look at that. Like, and there's the little, see the little goes out, circle, circle. Yeah, it's a geoglyph. Like a sun pattern. So we're here at this archaeological site that we didn't know was here, and we have looked at it and we believe it is a geoglyph. And so we were here last night. We've come back to try to get a picture. We can't fly drones, obviously on the bombing range because there's planes flying. And so, and we don't know how to use, I don't know how to use James's drone. So I'm here with my 360 camera trying to get an aerial view of it, and we'll see how this. So a geoglyph is a large-scale design created on the Earth's surface, typically by arranging or removing stones. It is usually designed to be seen from the air, and a lot of native people did this. We just don't know why. I've used my 360 camera here, and I've made like a tiny planet so that I can show you, but you can see the circle that has been dug out in the dirt as I walk around, and then you can see the little
offshoots that are like solar rays or the sun. I don't know what it is, but it's pretty cool. It's a big circle with a bunch of little offshoots coming out. Next, we are off to find a campsite. We set up camp, watched the sunset, and enjoyed the peaceful surroundings.
Well, good morning. We spent our first night on the bombing range last night. It was very peaceful and very quiet. We were kind of hoping for a light show, but no light show appeared and no jets appeared. So it's been beautiful and quiet. And we camped here, and there's some prospect holes for an old mine. We don't know what mine it was, or if it was even a mine. But we're gonna go check that out and see with my geologist. The minute we got here, she started picking up rocks. Right, so we're over at the prospect hole, and we already can see some cool rocks. And these are called the Copper Mountains. So I'm assuming there's some copper around here. Oh. Huh? Oh, there might be a mine shaft. What is this?
Cool rock that might be there might be some malachite in there.
So you can see up the hill, prospect hole, prospect hole, prospect hole, prospect hole. But clearly this wasn't where the good copper ore is, because over this way, which we're going to visit in a little bit, is the Betty Lee mine, which was a copper mine.
We set off for the Betty Lee mine, but you never know what you're going to find on a bombing range. And we found an osprey. On the back of the osprey, there was a pickup truck parked in the shade of its tail and a pop-up tent. There were military personnel inside the truck. They really didn't want to engage with us, and they left us completely alone. It was pretty cool to see, and since then I have noticed them in the sky above my house at Davis-Monthan Air Force Base. We were off to find the Old Soak mine. Instead, we found a combat village. Check out our video on the combat village. And when we came back, next to the osprey was some sort of radar truck that was there. We don't know, but we suspect they were going to be doing maneuvers. Another thing that made us suspect maneuvers were going to happen soon was we came across about 5 or 6 of these communications towers that were set up with solar panels all around the bombing range. Next, we headed up to the Betty Lee mine.
Alrighty, we are here at the
Hiking parking lot trailhead.
for the Betty Lee mine. We didn't realize we weren't actually going to see the mine, but it's about a mile up, no, half mile.
All up, mile back, rock scrambling, and it's like 95 degrees.
Yeah. But what's interesting about this place is how deep is the tunnel, and the
Tunnel is about, so there's about a 700-foot shaft that goes down, and that connects over 2,000 feet of inner workings on 7 levels underneath. So it's a pretty impressive mine, especially considering they clearly, I don't know what they did to get the stuff power out, but it kind of seems like it might have been a by hand type of thing, which is crazy. And they got 45 tons of ore out of this mine when it was operating intermittently between the early 1910s to 1939. So,
And
mostly copper.
yeah, and it was only 2%
Yeah.
grade, so it was not high grade copper ore.
Which is why it's not
Still a mine.
still a mine to this day.
Right.
And the Department of Defense no longer has to pay mine owners as perpetuity for taking their land.
So this is the mine site here. Okay, so this is the mine site here. Well, we don't know. Somebody said it may have been where workers were housed and lived.
But somebody else also said that maybe dynamite storage.
And considering how thick these walls are, it very well could be. That looks like storage.
Yeah.
And this little building. That's all that's here. Beautiful canyon, though. Beautiful canyon.
As we drive along, we see lots of random stuff on the ground. Here is an example. We also see about 10 of these fake tanks. And so they're just fake tanks on a trailer that can be moved around. Which is another reason we were thinking they would probably be doing maneuvers soon. Our friend had given us the GPS locations of a plane crash, so we went off to find this next.
We're at one of the plane crashes that's out here. The other one looks like they've closed off the way, but a little, I don't know what I was expecting. Sobering. I don't either. Jet fuel. I don't know what I was expecting.
Honestly, I was expecting less planes.
Maybe that was it.
The other plane crash sites that I've seen, I think it might be one.
Bits.
And it's just although that was mostly probably if we recovered the first year, they would need it closed, you know.
Yeah. I don't know what kind of plane it is. Your dad would probably look at it and go, it's a blah blah blah.
In fact, he did know. It's an F-4 Phantom. Grace and I were hoping that the pilot had ejected and was okay. But once we got home, James found this article, and it was a mock dogfight, and the pilot died of this airplane. Thank you to this brave Marine pilot for your sacrifice. Grace and I decided we didn't have the stomach to go visit the other plane crash. Especially as we left, we drove along what we found out was the debris field from the plane, and we found tons of little bits of plane for miles and miles south of the wreck. We soon hit the main road and we stumbled across another fake tank. We came upon these 5 vehicles: a fake tank, a wheeled missile launcher, and 3 pickup trucks, which I think were Hiluxes, with 50-caliber machine guns in the bed. There were no military personnel around at all. The last thing we saw before we headed out was what I called Tank Alley. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, fake tank, 5, 6, 7 tanks. So 7 tanks in all, and then it was time to head home. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.